Hello and welcome to the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, and we have a very special guest joining me here, Mark Edward Willows. Mark, how are you?
Hey, Kayden, how are you? It is definitely a pleasure to be here with you.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Now, Mark, you've done a lot of things in your career since you were 3 years old. You've done all different things. You wrote a book recently and all that. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about you and how you
Oh,
got your start?
goodness. 3 years old. That wasn't exactly yesterday, but anyway, yeah, long story short, I started in TV commercials.
Mhm.
People always used to tell my mom, your kid is cheery and bright and talkative and all of that stuff. And somebody one day in a park of all places said to her,
Oh.
he would probably be good in TV commercials or what. So she took a snapshot, back in the day, Kayden, when you actually took a snapshot and all,
Mhm.
had it developed at the drugstore, and we looked up some agents. And at the time I was living in the Chicago area, and
Mhm.
we took a photo down to see an agent there. And before you know it, she sized me up in the stroller from head to toe, and I was
Mhm.
booked for a McDonald's commercial. And that is how it all began. And then when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, I was doing
Mhm.
cereal commercials. They flew me out to Los Angeles. I worked at Paramount Studios. And, I just sort of fell in love with this business. But one thing I do want to point out, I got my education. I have a college degree.
Mhm.
I actually used to teach for a while, and I thoroughly believe in that. But yet, in the back of my mind, the love is for this
Mhm.
industry. And you know what? You name it. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I've done
Mhm.
radio, television. I was in a movie. I've done 2 soap operas. I've written scripts. I've written the book. You name it, I have done it. And you know what? I'm still standing and proud to talk about it.
That is fantastic. So why don't you tell us a little bit more specifically what you've been in for like TV shows? Where have you done
Well,
radio?
yeah, back in the 80s, I had a role on Days of Our Lives, which is the NBC soap opera. I played a bartender on that show. And I got to work with veteran performers like Deidre Hall and Gloria Loring and Leanne Hunley. And I also found out that I was on the same soundstage where Bewitched was shot. So I was actually in Samantha's living room, I tell everybody.
Wow.
And that was at the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood. And I met the Golden Girls. That show shot next door. So yeah, that's some. And then locally in the Chicago area, I worked for NBC. I worked for Fox TV. I was a reporter. I was on the radio out here. I actually worked with Danny Bonaducci from the Partridge Family. I was Danny's entertainment reporter, and I had to get up 3:30 every morning to go there and be with him. But it was a blast. So that's just some of the stuff. And today I did the book. I still have a podcast. And also locally in my area, I do a radio segment, which is called Hollywood Snippets. And if anyone goes to my website, which is Mark Edward Willows with 1 L, it is public. I always put the link up there and you can listen to it.
That is fantastic. And I also see here that you've gotten a chance to interview many people like Jay Leno, Kelly Ripa, and Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, yes. Oprah Winfrey. Back in the day,
Yes.
I used to have a little talk show, and
Okay.
only the Chicagoland area knew of Oprah. And
Hmm.
Oprah came down to do my show. And I always remember I asked her, where's her future going? And I always remember her response. She says, well, they hired this little African American woman out of Baltimore, Maryland. And she says, probably give the show 6 months. Well, we all know what happened. So that is it. But yes, that was a highlight. And oh my God, I have interviewed stars. I mean, countless, from Oprah to Jay Leno to Kelly Ripa to and of course with the podcast, one of my highlights, Marion Ross from Happy Days, Donnie Most from Happy Days, Kathy Garver from the old show Family Affair. So yeah, I've just, you name the star, I've interviewed them.
Wow, that's crazy that you've interviewed so many people. In total, how many people would you say that you've interviewed?
If I had to guess, major stars, probably over 300. And people that are just in the industry or
Hmm.
whatever, maybe close to 1,000. And also proud to say, I interviewed, they actually did my show. I had OJ Simpson's detectives on my show.
Oh, that is just
Oh yeah, so
fantastic.
it was a variety of all kind of people, and of course my fondness is, as you know, the book,
Hmm.
which is doing real well. I'm doing book signings, library readings. The book is called Silas and Sophie. I wrote it with a gentleman by the name of Travis Joseph Ziegler. He was a friend of mine, still is a friend of mine, and he always wanted to be in the entertainment industry. That's a goal of
Hmm.
his too. So we did the book. Here's a little bio of both of us if anyone wants to read. But
Hmm.
anyway, I brought him into this project and I thought, making him an author would be absolutely great. And one of the
Hmm.
things Kate and I love to do, because God knows I've had it, I enjoy helping people in the industry, especially
Hmm.
younger people. As you know, that's very important. I love to give advice. They could take it or throw it away, whatever they want to do with it. Some throw it away. But you know what? I'm always very honest about everything. And I just like to help people in the business.
Likewise, likewise. I think, for me being so young and everything too, learning the industry for the past 3 years, I've done this. It's just been incredible. And everyone's like, you have a bright future. And I'm like, I agree. And I've gotten so many advice
Oh,
and all that.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And, doing this, I hate to say, but 53 years,
Yeah, you've done it
well,
longer than I
remember I
have, that's for
started it.
sure.
Yes.
But you
Remember
started at 3.
yes, I started at 3. But anyway, it is very true. I mean, I have gotten advice from major stars in Hollywood. I've had people take me under their wing. I mean,
Mhm,
back in the day, I was at Paramount Studios and we ran into
mhm.
Lucille Ball. And I was with my dad, and she looked at me and she said to my dad, this kid is going to go places. I always remember that. So I was told that by Lucille Ball. But yeah, I mean, it's very true. Advice,
Mhm,
and as you know, starting, you keep going, you be persistent, you do
mhm,
whatever. You never take no for an answer. And one of the things that I really love is Rue McClanahan from the Golden Girls. She played Blanche. She
mhm.
won her Emmy Award. And I always remember what she said. For those of you that shot me down and told me I'm no good, whatever, she said, and you know who you are, and you will be in the book. And I always remember that. And it's true. You never take no for an answer. It's a business that you just keep going.
Mhm. I agree, and you are gonna get no's from people too.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God, Kayden, if I were to tell you, long story short, I'm going to make this as short as possible. I
There
mean,
you go.
I always wanted to be a TV reporter years ago, and I
Mhm.
went to this station in Boston, and the
Oh,
guy was
really?
real nice when I saw him and everything.
Mhm.
Oh my God, a week later, I get a letter in the mail, back when they used to mail letters. Shot me down from A to Z. Like, why did you even come here? Waste my time. You have no experience, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I was literally in tears. Well, anyway,
Mhm.
guess what? Today he's flipping pizzas in San Francisco. So that's my point. You never take no, you keep going and you keep going at it. And I'm a kid that was raised on the south side of
Mhm.
Chicago, recently had a reunion, grammar school. My classmates cannot believe what I've done, where I've been. And they're all like, how? I says, you know what? Will and determination. That's
Mhm.
exactly what it takes. So, like I say, yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. And also, I want to say about the book, Silas and Sophie, it is about a little country boy and the love of his
Mhm.
dog. So it is a very heartwarming book. And one of the reasons, Kayden, also why I have written this book is I want to bring literacy back to children. Do you know,
Mhm.
believe it or not, little kids have no idea today what a book is. They don't. Now, when I was
Mhm.
a kid, a book was a very special prized possession. You went to bed with it. It was your property. Mom and dad read to you. So that
Mhm.
is kind of what I want to bring back today and introduce books back to little children.
No, I agree. In this day and age, it's like everything's so digitalized and everything's all about video games or
Mm-hmm.
this video game or that video game. I think a lot of kids, you're going to tell them in 20 years, hey, what's a book? You want to read a book? They're going to be like, I'm sorry. Like they're going to be so lost. And it's like sad to think about because, as we're growing up, it's like that was like the main thing. Your mom and your dad would read to you at
Yes.
night a story
And
every single night.
yes. And Kayden, when I was growing up, it was books and board games.
Mhm.
We sat at the table, we played, we laughed, we had the popcorn, we had everything. The kids today don't do this. And don't get me wrong, I love technology. If not for technology, you and I would not be talking. I love it.
Right.
But these kids are this is all you see. And they are just enthralled in their world. They don't know that there is a world out there. And, we used to play summertime, sprinklers running under it. Kids don't do that today. It's nothing. I mean, they're sitting on a back deck and they're on a laptop. It's like 90 degrees outside. Go under a sprinkler. But yeah, it is a little bit different world today.
Absolutely. And I think that I had a chance to kind of read a little bit of what you've done and, kind of look a little bit at what the book was about. And I think, remembering that as a country boy and his dog going out and playing with the animals. It's just simple.
Exactly. Like I said, we've played with the animals. We waited for the ice cream truck. We ran under a sprinkler. We were out. Now, I know times are a little different, but believe it or not, we used to play in the park till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And there were no cell phones. And yet mom knew where we were and we knew where she went and everything was fine. But like I said, yes, it was a different world. And again, I do love technology. God knows I use it every day. I live with it. But like I said, you do need to a little bit put that down, go out and enjoy the world. I mean, when we were growing up, we went out for an ice cream cone. Oh, bike riding. That's another kind of a lost art. We hopped on a bike. We went. It was fun. So I'm hoping that this book brings back a little of this because, one of the things, Kayden, we do miss in today's world is family time. It just isn't there.
I agree. And I agree with you also when you say that technology is important because our jobs kind of resist in technology, but knowing when to put the technology away is very, very important for your physical health and your mental health.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I had a friend that was on vacation and they took no phone or nothing. They says that was the best week of their life. See, because it is true. And, today we text, we message, I mean, literally crazy stuff. I mean, I will have friends that come over, they just leave the home and they text me, we're at the stop sign. I'm like, what's the point to this? But see, that's how the world today works. And like I said, again, when I was growing up, I went to grammar school. I would stop in the local drugstore, put a dime in the phone. I remember dialing my mother at noontime. And you know what? She knew where I was and I knew where she was. And that's it. Yeah, but it is a different world today. But anyway, being in this business, I do love it. All I accomplished. One of the things I do want to add, I go to the Emmy Awards in Los Angeles, especially the daytime Emmy Awards. And one of my highlights for me was being with Betty White. And I've met her on the set of Golden Girls, and I came up to her and I said to her, hey, do you remember me? And she said to me, do you want a slap in the face? And she was just the most wonderful woman. She always played the naive character, but she was just great. And I'm going to show you something here, Kayden. I have on my desk. This was a gift from the Emmy Awards. This was all on our tables. We had the little Hollywood sign and from Warner Brothers, we all got a Hollywood Studios.
Oh my
camera.
God.
Yeah, so I keep that here. And I've been to the awards at the Beverly Hills Hilton. I've been at Warner Brothers. It's just fabulous. It's a magical night. And I have to pinch myself. This kid from the south side of Chicago, I made it. But yeah, it's a fun business, but you make it with will and determination.
I agree. And that is very good advice for anybody that is trying to, jump into this industry. You've got to have the determination. You can't let yourself go too easily.
And the passion and the love. Do you know, Kayden, there is not a day that goes by that I am not asked these questions. Now, I'm going to be producing a Christian film. That's coming up within the next couple months. Yesterday, I was flooded with everyone that wants to get into business. How do I get into this movie? What do I do? Blah, blah, blah. And, I talk to a lot of schools, kids, and I get asked this question and I tell them, will determination, passion, and do you not agree that you have to be available when something comes up, and it could come up within 5 minutes? I
Yeah.
get this all the time. Mark, there's an audition at 3 o'clock. Or I get a phone call. Mark, we're in town from Los Angeles. We're on our way over to your house. So, sometimes you do have to cancel your plans, whatever, but it's very important because it is considered a part of your work. And that's the way it works. Somebody, Kayden famous, is coming into town, maybe some executive, a CEO of a studio. Do you really want to miss them to go out and have a Coke or have a dinner or go to a ball or go to a ball game? Think about it. I mean, this is exactly it. And I'm sure you will agree. I'm right. I mean, that's the way it has to go. I had this one friend who I sort of mentored in the business many years ago. And he wanted to get in, and he was dating, and he had a girl and all. And you know how it is when you date. No offense, you're young, here today and gone tomorrow. But anyway, I called him on a phone and I told him, you have this audition, whatever. He's like, oh, I'm with this girl and she means a lot to me. And I'm like, excuse me, you've only met her a week. You don't even know her, nothing. And Kayden, he gave up the opportunity for a Class A network commercial that he was to audition for. And you know what the agent says? Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
they don't have time to waste. Like, they're busy.
No,
That's why.
Absolutely. It is a business and it moves fast. I mean, you can have an audition and boom, it needs to be in by 6 o'clock, whatever. That is how the industry works. But all in all, and you being in it, I'm sure you would agree. Is it not a lot of fun? I tell everyone it's like a drug to me. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun how you do all of this. And isn't it even you interview people? Don't you find this very exciting?
Absolutely. Hearing their stories, hearing everything. It's just great.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? With all the interviews I do, I always say everyone has a story to tell. And you know what? You could ask Kayden one question and you're going to get a million different answers to that same question. Yeah. I mean, I could ask, how did you get into this business? And I will hear, well, my dad was a studio executive. Or the next one will say, well, I worked for $1 an hour. So, yeah, I mean, it's a variety of everything. And I sort of got into this business, it's very funny. I mean, advancing into Los Angeles,
Right.
When I was college age, I kind of did not like school. I mean, it was kind of a nightmare for my mom and dad to get me to go to high school. And this one day, my friends were all registering for college and they asked me to come along. So I did. And they went and registered, and I'm sitting and I picked up the school catalog and I came across Journalism 101. And I love the way they had it written. Be the next Barbara Walters. And I'm reading and I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And the rest is history. And I got a college degree and everything. And believe it or not, I had the chance to meet Barbara Walters and I told her this story. And she was laughing hysterically. But yeah, and that's how it started. And it just proceeded on to Los Angeles and one thing spiraled after another. And then also I own a company today. I have a public relations firm. Yeah, I have a public relations firm. I do press for a lot of stars. I'm responsible for doing bios. I'm responsible for getting their faces on the covers of magazines. And that is also a challenge, and I like it. And yeah, and another thing too, I'm always doing everything. People say why. I love to do it. I'm planning on why. Yeah, I'm opening a firm in the Chicagoland area, and I may expand that I'm going to be an agent, and I will be getting jobs for people in TV commercials because I do so much of this, and I've got so much knowledge. I've been doing this all my life. I know how to do it. I know what casting directors look for. I know all the union rules, everything. So I'm gonna have people come to me. It's resume and bio, as you know, those are the tools of the trade, and I'm going to try to submit them to different companies so that they could get a job in commercials and have the fun that I had doing this.
I think that's just great. I think, giving people that opportunity is so important.
Oh, it is. I've had people do it for me. One of the people that I would like to mention, and of course they both are gone today, but it is the Bell family who own The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful. I have been friends with that family for 35 years, and that's Bill and Lee. They were the nicest people who helped and gave advice. Lee was like my second mom. We would talk on the phone and she'd be like, Mark, you know, but you know what? I learned a long time ago, when somebody gives you advice, Kayden, that you trust, you don't shoot them down. You may not like what they say, but you know what? They are telling you the truth. And everything that these people have told me has come out to be all fact, all reality. And you know what? I am just very grateful for that. So, you know, when people give advice, or especially someone a little older, someone younger, don't always say, they're full of you know what. No, because you know what? In my case, been there and done that. And I do know, and I understand, and this is something that I like to do. And I always tell people, even if I teach a class, I say, you know what? Follow my advice. I guarantee, I'm not going to guarantee you'll be the next Tom Cruise, but I do guarantee that you may go somewhere in this business. And that's it. And when I find out they did, it gives me just great satisfaction.
That's awesome. So, Mark, where can people find you on social media if they want to keep up with what you're doing?
They can find me on Facebook. I'm very big on Facebook. It is Mark Edward Willows with one L, Willows, and my site is my site is public. So not private, it is public. So you can definitely get on there and you can message me or whatever. That is the best way to get a hold of me. And I will mention my podcast, Gabbin Cabin. That's the name. And I'm very excited. We just got our official mug.
Oh my goodness.
For the show. So it is Gabbin, Gabbin, Cabin, Cabin, and it is on YouTube. Just type in Mark Edward Willows, Gabbin Cabin, whatever. And we're on all platforms, including iHeart. We're on Spotify, on some we're on video, on some we're on audio, but you can definitely find me. And the book, Silas and Sophie, is available at barnesandnoble.com and amazon.com. It is hard copy, paperback, and it is also in Kindle. And we are going to be touring and doing book signings and readings. I've already got a couple libraries booked. So it's a lot of fun. It's just very exciting.
That is just wonderful. Well, Mark Edward Willows, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the Kayden Gordon Show today.
Well,
Best Country Mix today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Pleasure talking to you. And you know what? I could see a bright future for you in this business. I really could. You're a great interviewer, and it's a lot of fun. All I'm going to say, hang in there.
Thank you.